So this video is about maximizing your heat source. I'm sure, I might be wrong, but I'm sure everybody knows that heat rises. So because heat rises, if your heat source is halfway through your van, it is, all the heat's going to be up here. Even when I lived in an apartment, I realized that our vents were like in the house that I lived in, the vents were on the ground and it rose that way. But because heat rises, right? So the closer the heat is to you, the more you feel it. But because if you, the heat in my apartment, the heat was up in the probably maybe about a foot away from the roof. And when that happens, you don't get very much heat down because all that heat that you have is rising anyway. So they do have those little vents on them, those little iron vents on them. The problem with that is that they're supposed to control where the heat is going or the air is going, but most of the time, the way it's pointed is way past everything and closer to the window. Basically, all the heat is going towards the window, which is where all the cold air is coming in. So then it's like, it's lost. But, so yeah, heat rises. So, I was thinking about buying another Mr. Buddy heater, and but because I already have one, I don't want to buy it. I do have one, but it's in someone's storage unit, and unfortunately, they don't pay their storage unit on time. So last time I had to get some important papers out, I think I had to give them like $700 to make up for all the late arrears, I guess, and but I had to get those papers out because I couldn't get my driver's license or um, or register my car or anything. So this time I thought, well, maybe I'll just buy another one, because when you think about it, $74 is less than $74 is a lot less than what I would have paid if I tried to get my other Mr. Buddy heater out of storage. So I was going to buy one, but I went to the store, and as I went to the store, I thought about the fact that the night before, my little Mr. Buddy heater ran out of propane, and I just didn't have the energy to get up and put another canister in there. Actually, no, I looked for another canister and I can't remember where I packed it. So, so anyway, I decided my little stove had propane in it already, so I just decided to use the little stove. But one of the reasons why I was thinking about getting another Mr. Buddy heater, not the little buddy anymore, is because this heater sucks. Think about it though. The way it sets like this, right? So the air is basically kind of drifting up this way. One of the things I noticed is I put my hand in front and didn't feel any air, like direct air. That's what I did like about the Mr. Buddy, because it sits upright. The air, when you turn it on, the air flows that directly like this. It flows horizontally. So you're sure if you set it on a ledge like this high, it's gonna flow. It's gonna flow straight across there. So I was thinking about it. What I was thinking about doing was, if I got another Mr. Buddy heater, setting it lower on the ground and having it flow straight out. And the good thing about this and the Mr. Buddy heater, though, is that it has a guard. So if something should fall, like a lot of times when I get up, my sleeping bag will roll off and fall, or all my pillows will fall because I put them on towards the end of the bed at nighttime, and when I move, sometimes they fall off the bed, and that's what happened last night. Is it fell off the bed and knocked the heater. But so if it does fall, these immediately turn off, so that's a good thing. Both of them immediately shut down when they if they're not upright. But I'm using my little cooking stove, and that doesn't have that mechanism on it. So if it falls or something falls on top of it, it worries me about the fire hazard. But anyway, so when I was using this, and it sits like this, I put my hand out here and I didn't feel any heat at all. I put it up here and I felt some heat coming up here and heat coming out here. So basically, all the heat on this little heater is going, it's still rising upwards, even faster, even though I have two steps before you get down, and then there's a third step before you actually step to the ground. So I had it on the first step going down, and still the heat was completely missing me, and the heat level started about right up here. So it's just going straight up to the ceiling and staying there. Um, so, yeah, so it really wasn't warming up the van. So that's when I thought, well, if heat rises, then my heat source has to be lower, even lower than counter or halfway through the van for me to feel it, and feel it fast and not have to wait all night. And if I can heat the place up quicker, then I can turn it off or turn it down, and I'm using that heat and using that energy. So that's when I decided to try out my little stove, my little burner, because I can take it and put it either on the same level that I am or on the step, and I have a crack in my door that I leave cracked so that the bad gases can flow out. But I like the fact that with the burner, I know exactly where the heat's going. It's going to come up, and it's going to come completely up, and it's low enough so it comes up and it warms me up before it reaches the top level. And so I'll get my burner and show it to you. So the bad part about the burner is that, you know, I don't think I'll use it at nighttime, because if one of my pillows fall off on the ground, it'll knock it over and it can catch on fire. There's no protection of it. But the nice thing is, even if I set it here, I don't know if you can see that, even if I set it here, I still get more heat than the little buddy. Or if I set it a little higher, I have another little top right over here. Even if I set it higher, I still get more heat. But with this, actually, the other day, I actually had it set right down here, and it still provides more heat. But I'm so close to the gases, and propane really bothers my throat, and it bothers my eyes, and it bothers my sinuses. So I'd rather not have it so close to me. But yeah, so your next heating source, think about the fact that heat rises. The higher up you have your heating source, the less heat you're going to get if you're sitting lower than your heating source. If you're sitting higher, you will have more of an opportunity to get to to benefit from that heat. I think that I mean, there's nothing wrong. Well, I mean, propane is, and that was another reason I didn't get the propane, was because I don't like I don't like to have that big canister, propane canister. I was trying to think about where would I put it if I had it. I could put it on the staircase over there, but then I'd have to worry about it moving around when I'm driving, and I didn't want to have to do that. So it's just so cumbersome, that big propane tank. And I was thinking this probably lasts probably maybe half a night if I had put it on a Mr. Buddy heater rather than the other one. So yeah, so I mean, I don't advise this for anybody to use this unless they're going to be awake and attended and aware that it's an open flame in the van. But as far as, I mean, it's been so cold. It's been cold enough where I wake up and I blow my breath and I see the air, you know, the white air. So it's been really cold lately. And but if you are safe enough, you can probably use this and be a lot warmer, use a lot less propane, and and be warmer quicker. And that's one of the things too I noticed about using this rather than using using the little buddy, and putting the little buddy higher, and even putting this higher. You know, is that the lower I put it, the more immediate I feel the heat, and the more immediate the space warms up. In fact, it gets too hot just using this sometimes. I kind of have thought about getting a one of those flat propane driven stoves, because, sorry, my phone dropped, but I've been thinking about getting one of the flat ones because if I do that, then yeah, it's still, I mean, there's still danger, you know, because that flame would still be open. So, but do try one of these and keep an eye on it and try to stay safe with it and don't fall asleep with it. And that's my take on heat.